Okay, warning, F-bombs are armed and they may be dropped, but not quite so many, I think, this time as you would normally expect out of me. So, this is actually my gun, and it's been disassembled partially for to cleaning status, but that's not why we're here today. What we're here today is for me to explain a concept that I've tried to explain many times and just doesn't quite get through. I have a concept for a universal handgun. Now, we're going to pretend for the sake of argument that this is not a 40 cal, but it's actually a kind of as wide as a 45, but as long as a 10 millimeter, which I think are the two biggest common calibers. I know there's a few others, but work with me here. There's a company, I want to say it's CMMG, that produces a mag insert that would convert, say, a 45 to a 38, let's say, right? There's really no limits to what they could do. It's just a limit to what they actually do at this point. Let's talk about that in a little bit. So, in my concept, this opening here would be as big around as any possible uh, uh, barrel is. Barrels themselves, this outer diameter of this tube, which is really all it is, would be as big around as anything needed to be. Then this inner diameter would be the size of the caliber you're actually working with. So you could literally swap in, if I could get it in there. There we go. The caliber would be whatever caliber you want. The magazine, by using the inserts, would be the size of the caliber that you need. Now, here's where it gets kind of funny. The recoil spring has to be such and such a weight based on whatever is running through the gun at the time. And even then, it's not an exact science. Light load 10 millimeters versus hot load 10 millimeters. The wrist breakers have very, very different recoil characteristics. My thought was that you could twist this, and as you twist it, you're adjusting this tension to the caliber. Now, that does raise a question: what kind of tool? Because if you can just hand twist it, is it really holding good enough? That's a good question. I can't answer it, but my thought was an Allen wrench, and you just sit there and turn it and turn it and turn it until it tightens or loosens to whatever the appropriate adjustment is for that caliber. And it would have to be marked, maybe color coded. I can't say off the top of my head what it would have to be. This would allow you to swap around between any caliber you really want. Now, there are some limits. Before I said that 10 millimeter is the longest bullet, and I happen to know that's not exactly correct. 44 mag, I think, is the longest. I said 45 caliber was the fattest. I also know that's not true. 50 AE, I think, is the fattest. There are going to be some limits, and that's just a limitation we have to accept. But we could get so many things down into basically the same thing. You could swap around between whatever caliber you happen to be using at the time. I know one of the considerations is barrel length, the amount of powder in the shell casing affects how much force is behind the bullet. The longer the barrel, the more resistance it gets, the more power behind the bullet. But at some point, it becomes more resistance than power, and you lose efficacy. If you made a barrel long enough, say 20 feet long, anything short of a 50 cal probably isn't going to make it through that pipe. Okay, well, we're not talking about a 20-foot barrel, but we are talking about a situation where we may have to adjust the exact dimensions on the barrel, because some rounds respond better to certain lengths and others respond better to others. I accept that that is a fact of the universe. Now, I have a 22 conversion kit for this. The barrel on my 22 conversion kit seems to be about the same length as the 40 cal. I have a 9mm conversion barrel. It's just a straight drop-in barrel. And it seems to be the same length as well. So I'm pretty confident there isn't going to be a whole lot of trouble there. But even if it is hypothetically a situation, it's one we can deal with. All right, so I hope this clarifies this ongoing question about where was I really going with this. This is not an one size fits all solution. This is a one size fits most, and it really is that most, not all. Is this possible with the 22? Maybe not. Maybe we'll have to give up 22. Is it possible with 25? Well, no. And if you know anybody who's making 25 caliber bullets these days, tell me. I'd be very interested to see. Is it going to be possible with 50 AE? Probably not. I'll just go there and say no. Is it going to be possible with 44? No, absolutely not. And because of the unique way that I measure the universe, 44 isn't actually a pistol anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. There's going to be limitations, but this will cover the vast, overwhelming majority of what's out there. All right, keep calm. Mandatory carry on for ATF Director.